In this lesson, we're going to learn how to insert videos inside our website, and we're going to do this using two different methods, one being actually including a video file inside our root folder, and the second method is by linking to a video online using something called embedding. Now, the first thing we're going to do is learn how to actually include the video inside our root folder, because the second method is going to be easier in some ways and more difficult when it comes to if you want to rescale the video inside your website. So we're going to take the basic one first, which is including an actual video inside your root folder. So what I did here is, as you guys can see in front of me, I have a basic index page that has a wrapper inside the body tags, meaning that all the content is going to stay within a certain width in the middle of my website. And inside the wrapper right now, I just have an H1 tag saying front page. Now I also have a style sheet that basically just styles the wrapper and gets rid of any kind of margins and paddings I might have inside the website. So if I were to take a look at inside my root folder, you guys can see that I have these two files, I have the index and the style sheet, and inside a folder I have a video called tutorial.mp4. Now when it comes to browser support, all browsers at the moment should support MP4 videos. Now we do have some other types of videos that we could use, but since MP4 is the one all browsers support, we're going to be using MP4 videos in this lesson here. So just in case you have a video and you're thinking, well, what format should it be? Then MP4 is the answer. So the first thing I'm going to do inside the index page is I'm going to include a video tag. And a video tag is actually something that we got included in HTML5. Because at that moment, we didn't actually have native support inside browsers for videos. We would actually need to have something called Flash. You guys may have heard about it. So it's a great thing that we can today use videos inside the browser without needing to use Flash. So we're going to be using an HTML5 video. So the first thing we're going to do inside the website is to include a video tag so we can actually link to the video we have inside the root folder. So I'm going to say we have a video tag, click tab in order to get the shortcut. And then we're going to change some of the information we get inside the attributes here, because we don't need to have all of this inside, the attributes here. So I'm going to delete the path to the video file inside the source attribute, because that is not correct. I have a MP4 video, and as you guys can see, it actually linked to a video file called videofile.ogg. So we're just going to delete that. And instead, I'm going to go inside a video folder inside my root folder, which as you guys can see, which is where I included the video. Now, if you guys do not have a video to play with when you do this little exercise here, I'm going to link to my lesson files in the description so you guys can download what I have here, so you guys also have a video, okay? Now, we're going to dig inside the videos folder, and then we're going to link to tutorial.mp4. So I'm going to go back here, make sure it says videos/tutorial.mp4. Okay, now there's a couple of things that we can choose to have inside our video tag here. As you guys can see, we have something called autoplay, which basically means that the video is going to play automatically once the user enters the page that has the video in it. Now, in this example here, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in. If you guys don't want the video to play automatically and you just want the user to, to play the video once they go into the page, then you can just go ahead and remove it like so from inside the tag. Now, the poster here is actually the thumbnail for your video. So if you don't want to have some sort of default thumbnail that the video decides for you, then you can choose your own image that you might have created using Photoshop or something else and include it inside this poster attribute here. Now, since I don't have an image, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. But just remember that you can include a custom thumbnail by using the poster attribute, okay? Now, right now, if I were to actually show the video inside the browser, I have no controls over playing, stopping, fast forwarding, that sort of thing on the video. So in order to include that, we're going to have to include an attribute called controls. So just by writing controls, just like we did with autoplay, we will then get the video controls inside the video. So now if we go inside the browser and refresh, you guys can see we now have a video going on inside the browser, and as you guys can see, it also plays automatically. So right now I can actually fast forward down here in the bottom if I want to do so. Again, there's not a lot in this video here. It's basically just the first PHP tutorial from inside my YouTube channel, but we have the video running and it does work. Now, let's say we didn't choose an MP4 video and you want to let the user know that the browser that they chose does not support the format that you decided to upload to the website, then we can do this in a slightly different way. So right now we have the source tag up here in order to link to the video. I can actually go ahead and just copy and delete that. And inside the video tags, I'm going to include a tag called source. Now, as you guys can see, we then get a couple of attributes if I do the shortcut. And the first one, which is the source, I'm just going to go ahead and replace it with whatever we had up inside the video tag. Now we also have something called a type, and right now it's set to video /. And this is when we need to let the browser know what kind of video that we link to over here inside the source. Right now I do have an MP4 video, so I'm just going to say /MP4. Okay, had it been a OGG format video, we would have written /OGGs, and so on and so on and so on. So what we can do now is, if that browser that the user is viewing the video in does not support this MP4 video, then we can let the user know that the browser does not support it by going underneath here and then giving them a message by writing something like, your browser does not support MP4 videos. Change browser. Or something like that. And then it will actually display this message here if your browser does not support the video that is on top of here. So if we were to save, go back inside my browser just to show, we still have the video inside the website. So nothing really happened here other than we changed the way we included the video inside the source file so we can actually include an error message. Now what we can also do is we can also change the width of the video, because right now, as you guys can see, the video is quite big and it stretches beyond the wrapper it's inside of. So if I want it to be within the wrapper, I can go inside my style sheet and say that I have a video tag, or I could give the video tag a class if I wanted to, and say I want to have a width set to 100%. Now, when we use 100% on an HTML element, such as video, that is inside another element, such as the wrapper, then the video is not going to be 100% of the website, it's going to be 100% of the container that is inside of. So because I have a wrapper that is 1000 pixels width up here, then the video is going to be 1000 pixels wide, okay, because it's inside the wrapper. So by using 100%, saving, going inside my website, and refreshing, you guys can see the video is now 100% of the wrapper, and it goes exactly to where the wrapper starts and to where it ends. So this is how we include a video by simply linking to a video from inside our root folder. But let's say I want to link to a video file that is online somewhere, such as YouTube or Vimeo. Now, a benefit from actually linking to a video online is that the video will load faster than if you were to include the video file inside your root folder. Now, another benefit as well is that if you were to include a video inside your root folder, the video is probably going to take up a lot of space on your server when you do actually need to upload the website to the internet. So linking to a video on YouTube means that you don't have to take up a lot of space by including videos inside your server. So personally, I usually use YouTube in order to link to videos. Now, the way we link to videos from, for example, YouTube or Vimeo is by using something called embedding. Now, embedding is something we have available to us inside YouTube itself and Vimeo. So if we were to go to my browser, go to a random video on YouTube, such as my PHP video from before, I can actually scroll down to where it says share, down here at the bottom of the video. I can click it and then choose embed at the bottom here. And then you guys can see we get this little pop-up here where we can actually choose which options we want to include when we do actually embed the video inside our website. And if you guys don't know what embedding is, it basically just means that we're taking content from another website and then pasting it inside our website. Okay, so I can actually say I want to show suggested videos when the video finishes. Maybe I don't want to have that in there, so I'm just going to uncheck it. I would like to show player controls because I want the user to be able to pause and continue the video if they want to. I want to show the video title and player actions if the user does actually want to use that. So now that I have what I want to include inside the video, I'm just going to copy what is up here at the top where it says iframe, copy it, go to my file, and then instead of the video tag that we included from actually linking to a actual video on our server, just going to delete it here, I'm just going to go ahead and paste in the iframe. Now, as you guys can see, the iframe can be quite long, and if you're using Atom, which is the text editor that I'm using here, as you guys can see, we can't really see the other code. So what we can do is we can go up inside View, click Toggle Soft Wrap, which means it's just going to jump down to the next line if there's no more room inside the width here. Now, if we were to save it, go inside my browser, you guys can see, and as you guys can see, we now have a YouTube video inside our website, and we can actually play it and fast forward and do all that stuff you can do on YouTube. But one problem with using iframes, which is by embedding a video, is that if I want the video to be 100% width of, for example, the wrapper it's inside of, we're going to have to do it in a slightly different way. Because if I were to go back inside my iframe and delete the attributes that is height and width, save it, you guys can see that if I were to refresh the browser, the video is just going to scale down to the smallest format that we have inside YouTube. Now if I were to go inside my style sheet and by CSS add a width to it, so instead of saying video, we're going to say iframe, because that's what we're styling right now. Refresh the browser, you guys can see that we do get 100% width, but the height for some reason cuts it off. So we're going to have to do a small trick in order to actually get the video to be, the width and height that we want it to be inside the browser. So in order to give a video a 100% width, we're going to do a small trick inside the index page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the iframe inside another container. So I'm going to create just a basic div. And I'm going to wrap the div around the iframe. So I'm just going to copy the iframe, delete it, and insert it inside the div we created here. Now I'm going to give the div a class. So I'm going to set this one to video wrapper. I'm going to save it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just copy the class name, go inside my style sheet, and I'm just going to delete the iframe we have in here because we don't need it. And instead, I'm going to style the wrapper that we just included around the iframe. Now, before we continue, I would like to actually explain why we're creating a container around the video in order to actually make it scale the height to the width inside the browser. And this is going to be slightly technical, so if you don't know about video width and heights, then just try and follow along as well as you can. Now, the basic idea here is that right now, the video has the right width, but it does not have the right height. And when it comes to videos, we have a scaling that says 1920 in width and 1080 in height. Meaning that we need to have the container that the video right now is inside of to be created using a div tag has to be 1920 by 1080 in scaling inside this wrapper here. So basically what we're doing here is we're creating a container that has the exact same width and height as a normal video would have inside YouTube or Vimeo. Then by creating this container, we would then say that the video, the iframe that we included inside our index page to actually show the video, has to be 100% width and height of that container. Meaning that it's going to be the exact same width and height as an actual video, okay? And as we start creating this, I will show you guys what I mean as we start coding it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go inside my video wrapper that I have here. I'm going to give it something called a position, set to relative. Now position is a way for us to move around content inside the website without using margins and paddings. Now, you shouldn't be using position in order to move around elements unless you have a specific purpose in mind. Otherwise, it can screw up your website slightly if you do not use it with a specific purpose. So position relative is a way for us to say that if I want, for example, the video to move 5 pixels to the right, then I can say I want it to move from the left side 5 pixels, okay? So just to show you guys, I'm actually just gonna change this to, for example, 100 pixels. Go inside the browser and refresh. And as you guys can see, the video has actually moved 100 pixels to the right side. Now, we're not going to be using position relative in order to move around the actual video, because we need to use the position relative to something slightly different, which I'll explain in a second. So what I'm going to do, instead of saying that we want to move around the actual wrapper by saying left, top, right, or bottom, is I'm going to give it a padding to the bottom. And I want to set this one to a percentage. So right now, because we have a 16:9 scaling on a video, which again, like I said, 1920 by 1080 is a 16:9 scaling, I'm going to set this one to a percentage called 56.25%. Then I'm going to set a padding top underneath here. And I'm going to set this one to 25 pixels. Then I'm going to set a height to 0 pixels, which means that now if we were to go inside the website, refresh, you guys can actually see any changes. But if we were to right click and inspect the website to actually show what's going on here, now I get this little inspector here that I can detach from the browser. So I'm just going to go in here and say I want to detach it. And now you guys can actually see it. It's inside my other monitor here. But if I were to show you guys the actual wrapper that the video is inside of, like so, you guys can see that we have a wrapper that is the same size as an actual video. So now what we need to do is we need to take the video and make it 100% width and 100% height of the wrapper it's inside of, or the container that is inside of. Okay, so I'm going to go inside my style sheet again, and inside my style sheet I'm going to give the actual iframe a styling. So I'm going to copy the video wrapper here, and I'm going to say we have a video wrapper, and inside the wrapper here we have a iframe. Then I'm just going to delete the styling down here, and I'm going to say we have a position set to absolute. Now, this is why we needed to have a position relative up here, because even though you guys just briefly got explained what a position relative does, a position absolute is slightly different than a position relative, because position relative takes the video where it's standing right now and then moving it to the left, right, top, or bottom from where it's actually standing. Now, position absolute takes whatever element we want to move around and moves it compared to the container that is inside of. So if I were to say left 100 pixels, then it's not going to take the video and move it 100 pixels from the left side, just like we did with relative. It's going to take the container that the video is inside of and have it be 100 pixels from the left side. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to set the left side to 0 pixels, meaning that the video is going to be 0 pixels from the container's left side. Then I'm going to go ahead and say at the bottom here we have a top, and set it to 0 pixels as well. We're going to take a right. We're going to set this one to 0 pixels, and then a bottom, and set it to 0 pixels, which means that right now we're telling it that the video has to be 0 pixels from the left, top, right, and bottom, meaning that it's going to stretch the video to fit all the sides of the container. What we're also going to do here is we're going to say that we want the height and the width of the video to be 100%. Because we want it to be 100% of the video wrapper we created up here. So we're going to say width as well, set it to 100%. And now if I were to go inside my website and refresh, you guys will notice that the video right now scales the actual width of the video. So now it's actually like it's supposed to be, and we can actually play it and you guys can see it does actually work. So now you guys might be asking me, well, this is very complicated. Why do we have to do it this way if we want to embed a video from YouTube or Vimeo? Well, it's just because that so far as I'm making this video, there hasn't been any kind of support when it comes to the height of the videos. So unfortunately today, we're going to have to do it this way with this small trick here in order to get the height to scale with the width. And it's something that is unfortunate, but we have to do so. Now we're going to do 2 more things before we end off this video here, because I want to show you guys how to embed a Vimeo video if you guys want to use Vimeo instead of YouTube. And the last thing I want to show you guys is that we did actually make the video responsive inside our website, which is something we're going to get into in the next episode, and you guys have requested of me to do. So we're going to do it in the next episode and talk about responsive design inside a website, which again today, because we're viewing websites inside mobile phones and tablets, is essentially something that we have to do when we create a website. So in the next episode, we're going to get into responsiveness. But just to show you guys at the end here, I want to show you guys that we did actually create the video in a responsive manner. Okay, so first of all, let's go to Vimeo. And I did actually find a video here that is of a forest. I'm going to go to the right side here where it says share, click it, and then we get a pop-up. At the bottom here, we can actually embed the video directly by just saying we want to take this iframe. We can also show more options if we want to, and remove some of the options here. And again, the options here depend on what the creator of the video wants you to be able to actually share and then have on the video when you do actually use it inside your website. So if they don't want you to remove the name of who actually made the video, then you can't do it inside the options here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy what we have here and then go inside my code, inside my index page, and then I'm going to replace the iframe we have here, and I'm going to delete the height and the width of it because we set that inside the style sheet. Save it, go inside my browser, and refresh. And as you guys can see, we now have a video from Vimeo inside the website here, and there's actually a short description up here which we can remove inside what we pasted in. So as you guys can see, we have the iframe here, and underneath the iframe we have some text, and we can just basically remove it if you don't want to link back to the actual video that we got from Vimeo. So I'm just going to refresh again, and as you guys can see, we now just have the video. So let's actually go ahead and change it back to the YouTube video, because I prefer using YouTube videos when it comes to what I include inside websites. And I'm just going to go and refresh the browser so we have the YouTube video. Now, what I want to show you guys is if I were to go inside the style sheet and change the wrapper to not a fixed 1000 pixels, but instead a percentage, such as if we were to say 80%, which means that right now the wrapper is going to be 80% width of the actual browser. So if I go back inside my website, refresh, you guys can see it changes size. But if I were to resize the browser, but dragging it from the left and right side, you guys can see that the video actually resizes in height and width according to the website. And this is what we call responsive design, because if I were to scale it down to a cell phone format, then we can still see the video inside the browser, okay? If I were to go back inside my code, change it back to 1000 pixels, and then let's pretend that I'm viewing this website inside a phone, then you guys can see, we can actually see the entire video inside a phone. So this is what responsive design is about. So we can actually see the content and shift around the content inside different devices. And this is what we're going to talk about in the next episode. And it's something that is very important to learn, because today, if you don't have a website that is responsive to cell phones, then a lot of your viewers are going to click away from your website, because a lot of people today do actually use cell phones and tablets in order to view websites. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.